Hey everyone, Don Cruikshank here from DC Leadership Training and Consulting. It's Wednesday, which means it's time for another episode of Lead Right Now. And that's two parts. What we want you to do is we want you to lead right now, in this moment, right now. And we want you to lead right now, the proper way now. And so what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk a little bit, just real brief and short, about making difficult decisions. You know, Proverbs 12:15, it's a Bible verse, and whether you believe the Bible is a holy scripture or just Proverbs is some good wise sayings, it says that the foolish man does what he sees right in his own eyes, but the wise man seeks counsel. And so if you're making a hard decision, I would encourage you to seek counsel of others on your team, within your organization. And this is what I've done, and this is what I would encourage you to do. During COVID, we've had to make a lot of tough decisions, and probably you have too. And I'm on the leadership team for our church, currently serving as the chair for that leadership team. And obviously we've had to make a lot of tough decisions. And so I'll set the agenda and get some input for the agenda going into that meeting. And I can have some pretty strong positions of what I believe we should do and the actions that I believe we should take. But I want to make sure that I'm not the only voice. Even though there's other people at the table, you know this, you can be the only voice heard at that table, even if there's other people. And so I want to lead right in making tough decisions, and I want our church to lead right in making tough decisions. And so we seek the counsel of each other around that table. And here's what I want to tell you. There's a myth out there. It's kind of a leadership myth. There's a myth out there that says that if you disagree, then you're not a team player. Or here's another one. If there's silence, then everybody agrees. And it's actually quite the opposite. If you're around a table making a decision, an important decision, and there's a lot of silence, it probably means that people don't agree. They don't agree. They may not know if it's safe. They may be unsure if it's kind of safe to speak up, and so they're silent. But you should always take silence when you're making decisions, important decisions. Always take silence as disagreement. And then here's what you want to do. You want to mine for divergence. And here's what I mean. A lot of people will go, is there any objections? No? Great, let's move on. No, you want to stop if nobody said anything at that point in time. You can do this a number of ways. You can go around the circle and ask everybody what they think, or you can ask, who disagrees with this? Who thinks otherwise? I want to hear that voice. I want to hear that input. And so people don't have to play devil's advocate. I got absolutely no time for playing devil's advocate, but I have time in making important decisions to hear the voices, the competing voices, the voices that might disagree. And you want to do that in your leadership. And the more that you do that, the more that you will teach those around your leadership circle and those you lead with that it is actually safe to speak up. You'll teach them, and they'll see by example that it's safe to speak up. That in fact, you want to hear the disagreement. You are mining for divergence, okay? So I don't know how you guys do your meetings, your board meetings. Maybe you guys vote all in favor, all opposed, kind of a really common practice. Here's the other thing I would encourage you when you're doing that, if that's the way that you make decisions, all for, all opposed, whatever the language is. If you regularly don't have people opposed, you're not hearing their voice. Come on, don't tell me, and I see this all the time, don't tell me that in every meeting that you have, everybody agrees on everything and they all carry the motion forward. That's ridiculous. What that means is voices aren't being heard and you actually don't have proper representation. Okay? Because if you had proper representation, whatever the board is the board of, you would have people disagreeing. Because I can guarantee you that people that the board represents don't all agree. So you got to make sure in your meetings that if you're never hearing competing voices or you're never having anybody opposed, something's wrong. Something is wrong there. You're not hearing the voices. And so you need to mine for divergence. And I know a lot of boards are volunteer boards. And so what happens actually is you just want quick. We want to go quick. Let's get through the agenda, get on with our life. Look, if you're on a board, if you're on a leadership team, your job is to steward that organization, that committee, whatever you're overseeing. Your job is not to get through the agenda as quick as possible. Yes, you want to be efficient, but your job isn't to get through it as quick as possible without hearing competing voices. So that's what I want to leave you guys with today. Lead right now. Find the disagreeing voices when you're making tough decisions, and your decisions are going to be better. you're going to have better outcomes. And at the end, when you get pushback from those that you lead, everybody then has owned the decision that's made. Okay, you don't have that parking lot meeting, or you don't have people going around behind back saying, well, look, I didn't really agree with that. Okay, you're going to have ownership of the whole team that makes a decision when all voices are heard. Especially important when the decision is super critical, super important, and when you don't hear voices that disagree. That's when you want to mine for divergence. So I hope that helps you guys in your decision-making process, because I can guarantee you got a lot more difficult decisions coming down the road, because it doesn't look like this COVID thing is going to be over anytime soon, at least in Manitoba, based on sort of the language that I'm hearing from the government. So you're going to have a lot of hard decisions to make. Seek the counsel of others, mine for divergence, and you will come with better decision outcomes. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. I hope it's successful. And if you've enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, comment, share it around so that we can keep producing this content for you to help you to lead right now. Bye for now, and thanks. Have a great day.